Alex being in K-Type Press, I'm with Odie Delaney, who returns to action at One Championship 158. Odie, how are you?
I'm doing well. How you doing, buddy? I'm good.
I'm good. I'm very happy to be talking with you, man. Dude, you're 9 days out. How you feeling?
I feel phenomenal. Yeah, I feel ready to go, man. At the end of a training camp, you just start to itch a little bit, because it's a grind. You're just getting after it every single day. It's time to get in there and get this work done.
I'm always curious about heavyweights. Where did you start this camp at? What weight did you start at?
Uh, I actually don't really need to monitor my weight. I always float around 255, 260, and I don't really move from that. Because when I up the training intensity, I up the calorie intake, and then it kind of naturally goes away as I reduce the training. So yeah, I'm never really too concerned about my weight. Right now, I'm probably floating around 260.
Gotcha. Awesome, man. So before we get to your fight, I wanted to go back 3 months. It's been 3 months since your fight with Thomas, man. How did you feel about that performance?
I felt really good about it. I was a little bit surprised. I thought that I was going to get to show my striking game a little bit more. I wanted to show that, but he threw a body kick right into my arms. So it's like, I'm going to take what he gives me, and if he wants to give a wrestler a body kick, no problem. So it went a little bit unexpected on that front. I thought he was going to, kind of box, keep his range, but hey, whatever. So went to the ground, finished him up pretty fast. So yeah, but it was a good fight. I feel like the performance was good. I'm looking forward to kind of showing more of my skill set though.
I mean, and you got him with the hammerlock. It's a fucking rare submission. What the fuck? How'd that come? Where'd that come from?
So I've actually done that. I kind of stole that from my collegiate wrestling days, because a lot of times, you get the arm up on the lower back, and I used that to like kind of initiate like a pinning series. But I kind of adapted that when I got into jiu-jitsu. I'd get the arm on the back and then kind of cross claw and just turn that into like an assisted hammerlock. I've been doing that for a while, but obviously no one gets to see me in the training room. So yeah, now it's been revealed. The hammerlock, yeah, the Odie lock they called it.
I mean, I'm down. I'm down for that. I'm down for that. It
I'm
sounds a lot
stealing
much.
it. I'm stealing it. It's mine.
Sounds much. Yeah, exactly, dude. Exactly. Well, I did want to ask, how good did it feel to get back to fighting, man? I mean, and also like, how frustrating has it been sitting on the sidelines not fighting?
You cut out there a little bit. One more time.
I
At the
said,
end, you cut out.
how frustrating was it to sit out for as long as you did, and then just kind of like how good did it feel to finally be fighting back again?
Yeah, I mean, extremely frustrating. I mean, that was a test, because I think COVID took a lot of people out of the fight game, because you're sitting there for 1-2 years, really hard to get a fight. It's already hard to fight, already difficult to get a fight as a heavyweight at the regional level, especially when you're a Division I wrestler. So all those difficulties kind of compounding. It was really a test. It was kind of a mental test, because it's like, man, should I be going and doing something a little bit different? Because if you can't get fights, you can't get to a bigger promotion. So yeah, it was a test. Getting back in the cage, man, that felt amazing. I'm a competitor. It's something that I'm always going to need. I'm always going to have to compete in some way. That's just my personality. So getting back in there was amazing. Felt so good. Lit the fire back underneath me, and I'm ready to just go on a tear.
Were you nervous about ring rust?
No, I wasn't. And the reason why is because, I mean, I've been competing, since I could walk. So that's not something that I was really too worried about, especially because of the way I train as well. I get all that knocked off in practice. As far as the crowd, the stage, none of that's going to bother me. Um, so no, I wasn't too worried about ring rust. And I didn't need to be, so it's all good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, didn't have to worry about that at all. um, and then all right, so meaty man. First of all, why isn't this fight on the main card? Well, what the hell?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And you know, that's okay. I'm being smart about how I'm going about this. You know, one's going to be smart about how they're going about this. I think this will probably be the last time I'm not on a main card because I'm looking to just put on the same type of show I put on the first fight. So yeah, I think this is the last time you'll see me down there in the lead. But you know, I'm okay. I'm not bitter about a thing, man. I got to prove myself. I know what I'm capable of. The people that are around me know what I'm capable of, but it's got to be proven. You know, it's all words and theory until you get in there and show what's up. So
Totally, totally. Well, what do you think of the matchup?
I love the matchup. He's a wrestler, but you know, I believe my wrestling's stronger than his wrestling. He's got a strong left hand, but I think the length is going to help me kind of avoid his strongest assets on the feet. So as far as his paths to victory, I think they're narrow. I'm never one to kind of go crazy with my predictions and how I think things are going to go. But you know, I do what I always done. I rely on my training. I rely on how hard I work. You know, so that's where all my confidence comes from. The opponent doesn't matter so much. You know, he could be anybody. I'm going to go in there with the mindset that he's one of the best fighters in the world. I'm going to treat him like he is, and we'll see how he holds up to that. You know,
You kind of said that you don't like to give predictions, but at the end of the day, how do you get your hand raised?
uh, I think when he comes out, he's going to try. I mean, he's an explosive guy, and he seems to kind of blow everything he's got all at once. Based on his last fight, if he goes with that same strategy, I think he's in a lot of trouble. Um, because if he rushes on me, he's going to get caught. He's going to get submitted quick. You know, I'm not necessarily a household name in the jiu-jitsu world, but my submission game is solid, and I'll go toe to toe with anybody. So, yeah, he's going to have to be careful on that front. If he wants to stand up and bang, he's got a big problem to figure out because I'm a lot longer than he is. I'm a lot taller than he is, and I'm not going to back up scared like some of his other opponents did. So yeah, we're going to get to see how that all plays out.
Not looking past him, but what do you want the rest of your year to look like?
Yeah, not looking past him, but man, I'm ready to fight. You know, I'm not the kind of guy that needs fights. I would fight every month if they'd let me. No problem. The only hard part about that is the stinking flight over there. It's a long flight, man. But no, yeah, I want to fight right away. I've already, you know, respectfully kind of called out Naglani. I'd love to fight him. That's kind of like a you know, a guy that I've watched for a long time. That's kind of like a fun fight for me. You know, no disrespect intended there. The guy's awesome. He's just a phenomenal athlete. So I'd like to fight him just to see what's what there. But as far as after that, man, I mean, I'm just going to keep developing myself and keep working my way up that ladder.
I mean, how many fights do you think it's going to take you to get to that title? Because you are a very credentialed wrestler. I think one championship knows what they got in you, and you pose a fucking major threat to Arjun. So, how many fights do you think it's going to take?
Um, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. I mean, it could be quick. That's the thing. It depends on how many heavyweights they continue to recruit. If they keep recruiting a bunch of heavyweights, which I think with this new Amazon deal, they probably will. So they're going to keep recruiting, you know, stacking the division out. If they do that, there'll be a lot more kind of fish in the barrel to go after. But if not, say the division stays kind of at the numbers that it's at, it won't take long. I mean, you're talking another couple fights, you know, 4-0, 6-0, and then it's game time. So yeah, we'll see, man. But I'm ready.
How stoked are you that one championship did that Amazon deal?
So excited. I mean, from, you know, in the United States, it's like people were always kind of confused. Like, hey, like my last fight, how do we watch it? Where do we go? Is it on the app? Is it on YouTube? Like, you know, I think that's going to make it a lot easier because everybody has Amazon Prime app on their phone. It's just going to make the whole situation a lot easier. Plus, I mean, just bringing one into the American market, yeah, it's going to put their name on the map everywhere here, you know. And then, you know, it's it's kind of like a snowball effect. Fighters will then want to get in, and it's just, I think they're doing the right thing, man. I'm really excited to see what that does.
Two final things. What I love your tattoo. What was the idea behind that? And like what does it mean to you?
Yeah, I'm an Alaska native. It's kind of a totem.
Okay.
And the totems are, what's important. And I got the cross right in the center, right above my heart. I'm a Christian. I wear my faith on my sleeve. That's why I fight. So yeah, that's kind of marks that. And then Alaska's like the rest is like Alaskan nature. You got the crows, you got the bear, you got the trees. I'm very connected with that place and that land, because I grew up in the middle of nowhere in the woods. So yeah, I like to remember it.
Well, I guess kind of like a follow up on that. Like, what was it growing up like in Alaska? Like, it's
Man, I was in a cabin in Willow, Alaska. It was me and my, I had 4 siblings, and that was my friend group, and like you just out in the middle of nowhere. And I went to Florida when I was 14, and it was like I'd been born under a rock. I just had to like catch up culturally on everything, because I'm out there, building cabins and working my tail off. I come down here and everyone's got iPods and stuff. I'm like trying to figure stuff. It's like I was an alien, So it was kind of fun.
that is fantastic. That is fantastic. And then what I wanted to end on too is a little bit. So I read your story that that MMA fighting did, and it fucking like it's a heavy story, but it touched me. There's been 3 mass shootings in the last 10 days, and the last one, kids got killed, and it is. I mean, what can you say about that, man? It's fucking truly heartbreaking. And you were with the Charleston one, man, and so I just like, what's going on through your head this last 10 days, and man, just like what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, you're seeing what hatred does when it's played out with action. And I'm here to spread my faith. I'm here to spread a message of, overcoming, sticking with it. The thing is, man, like the trauma that people experience when this goes down, the families, the law enforcement that were involved, it kind of can spiral out of control really, really fast. And it's another big part of why I'm doing what I'm doing, is like that message of like, don't let hate fester in your heart, man. Like, it's so easy, especially today with how polarized everything is, political, religious, whatever, just, gender ideology, whatever you want to talk about, you name the subject, there's just 2 hugely distinct camps. And it's very easy, especially in our world where we're not so connected, where everything's behind a screen. We're never face to face with anybody more. And it's like, it's easy to just let hatred build and build and build and build. What I've heard from this guy in Texas, no friends, no girlfriend, picked on, bullied. It's like, man, it's just a recipe for this kind of thing to happen. And that's why we need more athletes. We need more people that kind of have the camera to speak out against this kind of stuff, speak out against the hatred, speak out against just like the tribalism that you see not only in the United States but all over the world. But yeah, man, it's horrible. It's horrible. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. It's trauma, man. It's trauma, and the whole country's feeling it. And it's very, very sad.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, just what can you say about it other than it's heartbreaking, man? Like, it's just like,
Yeah.
It ruins lives. It ruins lives, like you said. Like, it doesn't just ruin the people the families, but the cops who threw there, and everybody, the kids that didn't die, they saw this. It's like,
and what frustrates me too is, we're only that happened very recently, right? And you look at the discord that's like, okay, so you got all these children that are dead. I haven't heard one of their names. All I've heard is Democrats talking about gun control, and then Republicans talking about Democrats wanting gun control. And it's like, man, like we haven't even discovered who these children are, and it's already a political hate fest. And it's like we do that with everything. We do that with everything. It's like don't waste a tragedy, right? And that's a horrible thing. And both sides can do better about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's talk about the things that matter. Let's talk about these families. Who are these kids that were lost? How are their parents doing? What can we do to help them? Are there GoFundMe's? I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that. All I've heard is, oh, the Democrats, you know, they want guns control, you know, and oh, the Republicans, you know, it's like, man, it's just, we focus on the wrong things when these things happen. And, you know, and we kind of give the shooter the fame that they want. You know, I think that's kind of part of it. It's like, I've heard his name 1,000 times. Again, I haven't heard one victim's name. It's like something's wrong here. And it's not, it's the media. There's a lot to it, you know. So, but yeah, those are kind of my thoughts on that. It's sick.
Yeah, man. Well, you're speaking nothing but facts, man, and it's sad. And you know, it's the thing with it is like you can't have a normal conversation because everyone wants to argue. You can't have a you can't just sit down, go to coffee, talk, and have a civil conversation. It's always one side or the other, you know, and that's what's the problem with everything, you know.
Yeah. I've noticed too, you know, I don't know if it's like the social media culture, just the day and age we're in, but it's almost like somebody disagrees with you, you just cut them off. You delete them on Facebook, you block them on everything, you never talk to them again. It's like where I grew up, that's like that wasn't possible. It's like you had to live amongst people, and even if they disagreed with you, you had to get along because Alaska's a tough place, man. You know. But yeah, we live in a world where it's like nobody needs anybody anymore, and that, like I said, makes hatred easy. We don't know how to communicate in a healthy manner anymore. It's just the whole thing. It's brutal. It's brutal.
Absolutely. And like I've always thought, like, man, like everyone needs somebody. It's we live as much as it's fun, like it, you know, I always like to say, like, I like my dog more than people, right? Like that's always the same. But like but being real, like people need people. We do.
Yeah.
We need love, and it's just like these past fucking 5, 7, 10 years, 20 years, it's I don't know, it's not normal.
And Facebook's not real. You know, those aren't your friends. Like it says friends on there, but those aren't your friends. You know, like a friend is someone who's going to drop whatever they're doing and inconvenience themselves and come help you. You know, it's like I can count those on one hand. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Odie, thank you so much for your time, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure.
If you want to plug your social media, you want to plug any sponsors, you want to thank anybody, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, Master Auto in Alaska. It's an auto shop that's owned by my aunt and uncle, and they've been with me since the beginning. I mean, since my amateur career. Definitely want a huge shout out to them. My team, American Top Team Asheville. Thank you. They've, you know, I had a lot of guys come outside of normal practice times and put in a lot of work just for me, and I can't thank them enough. I couldn't do this without guys doing that kind of thing. So thank you to them. My wife. You know, I don't know if people realize this, but this game's not possible unless you have someone strong that you're partnered with that can help you through it. So a huge shout out to her, Savannah. Social media, I mean, I think everything's under just Odie Delaney. Pretty easy to find. It's a weird name, ODIE. So it's like there's one of me, man. So yeah, everything's under Odie Delaney. Just check me out on there. Please follow. You know, that helps with sponsorships and everything else. So thank you so much.